Sponsors, and now right now sitting with us here under our tent in the end zone is the head coach of the St. Joe's Prep football team, Tim Roken. Good morning, Tim.
Morning, guys, and thank you guys for having us. This is awesome right now.
So Coach, I see that you graduated from Archbishop Ryan.
Yes,
he's a Philly boy.
Northeast guy, absolutely, yes.
But did you guys play St. Joe's Prep?
I did. I was very familiar of St. Joe's. I was very familiar of St. Joe's Prep when I was playing against them, and knew of the success and the tradition that they had. And then to have an opportunity to coach for them and be a part of this program over the last now 13 years has been pretty special.
And then you played quarterback at East Stroudsburg, and I played quarterback in high school and college. So I like quarterbacks.
That's it. Hey, we can sit here and talk QB ball all day. Absolutely.
Right. Did you ever thought you were going to be one day end up as the head coach at St. Joe's Prep?
No, I never did. I tell you, it's funny. I have a lot of teachers in my family, my sister, aunts, uncles, cousins, and I always told myself I want to be something other than a teacher, right? And, I got into the sport marketing world for a year, and then, as much as I tried to derive myself from being in that path, God brought me right back to being a coach in a different way. And, I've been blessed to be able to be at a place like St. Joe's Prep over the last 13 years and excited, to be down here and have this opportunity tonight.
And that's a perfect segue to my next question. What's it like coaching at such a big program like St. Joe's Prep? What are some of the challenges being the head coach of one of the best programs in the country?
Hey, you're always going to be put on, a pedestal, and people are going to have high expectations for you, right? But listen, we have high expectations, since the day I walked in the door under Coach Infante, and was to be the best program in the country. And that's not necessarily being the number one ranked team in the country, but just about how we go about our business is everything that we do, right? How we watch film, how we travel, right? How we practice, how we nutrition, how we are in the weight room, how we are watching film. So all those different variety of things, right? We want to make sure that we're doing as much to the college level as we can to prepare our guys, right, for the next level if that's what they're going to do. And if that's not their passion at the next level, then they're getting great life lessons through this great game and learning structure and discipline within this program and this school, and they're excelling at the next level in all different variety of areas.
We're talking with the head coach of St. Joe's Prep. Of course, you guys are going to be playing IMG tonight, the marquee matchup, which is going to be on ESPN2. What are some of the challenges that you have, like getting your team to stay calm, not be too excited? I mean, obviously you guys have played in some big games before, but being on ESPN2, what's that like? It's
a great experience. It's great. It's great for our school. It's great for our program. And it's great for these kids to have an opportunity. And, there's not many high school programs that have that opportunity to play on ESPN every year. And gratefully, we've had that opportunity over the last few years. So some of our older guys obviously are familiar with that. But, hey, listen, when this thing gets kicked off, it's a football game, right? And we got a job to get done. And it's about trying to block out the noise and focus on their job every day, every play, and make sure we give the best version of ourselves and show everybody around the country what brand of football we are at St. Joe's Prep.
So, Coach, I just heard you about how you're molding young men. Not everybody goes on to the next level to play football, but you're molding for the world, real world. But getting back to when you get to the level that you are, you're one of the top 10 teams in the country. After tonight, the other teams that are out there that are in the top, say, 20 in the country, when they see the background and where this is, and we're right next to the beach, there's going to be a lot of phones ringing tomorrow saying, I want to be part of this battle of the beach. How do you pick and choose where you go? Like is that with you and the AD, or because I'm sure your phone rings off the hook that we want you here, we want to play it. You have a regular schedule. You probably only have one or two games that you can do something like this. How does that work?
Yeah, so we have about 4 non-league games that we have in the month of September that we have to fill every year. And for us, since I've been here, since 2012 was the first year that we went and traveled outside the state. And there was a lot of people, right, that were like, why don't you beat some of those teams in the area? Because we struggled our first 2 years in 2010, 2011. We were 11-11 over those 2 years. And 7-4, 4-7, and 7-4. And then we started to make a run. 2012, right, we lost in the Catholic League final. And then since 2013, we've played in 9 of 10 and won 7. But to have these opportunities to play against top competition around the country is only going to teach us who we are as a program and what needs to get fixed to come back and play a tough Catholic League schedule. And then we come back and we play with a ton of confidence. And then if we have that opportunity to make a playoff run, these guys have played in the bright lights before, right? So they shouldn't flinch at that time. And at that point, hopefully we're playing our best football. But in terms of being able to go and play in these great places, like down here in Ocean City and have this opportunity, it's great for our families. It's great for our alumni. We have a ton of families and alumni that vacation down here anyway. So this place is going to be prep heavy tonight, I'm sure.
You know that.
So you have a couple Eagles that were DeAndre Swift and the name that I can never say right. Josh always gets mad at me.
Olamide Zaccheaus.
Zaccheaus.
Now,
Yes.
they were both St. Joe's prep guys, and they're both playing for the Eagles right now. Do they get to communicate with the team a lot since you're in the same area, and how exciting is that?
Obviously, they have a very structured schedule as well, and they've not been around yet, but I know they plan to get back around. They're fired up. I was actually able to get back to see them at practice last week when the Browns were in town with Kevin Stefanski, who's a prep grad as well. So being able to kind of link up with those guys for the first time in a while. But I tell you, their smiles and their personality, it was like I was talking to them when they were seniors in high school all over again. And they haven't changed much in that way, but just become more great young men in that sense. And obviously they've taken what they learned from the prep and both academically, right, and from a football standpoint and in life, and applied that in what they went and to do that in college. And then obviously gratefully have the opportunity to be back home playing in the hometown city. So, now hopefully we get a couple more guys back here in Philly in the near future. It'd be great.
And one more alumni, Rob McElhaney, who from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He's like, this is my favorite show ever, and a lot of people's favorite show. Does he ever have any, contact with you guys at the football team?
He's been back around. He'll come to a couple alumni events when he's back in the area. He's best friends with our former athletic director and Dennis Hart. They were classmates together. And I know whenever he's back in town, they're always trying to either stop by, get some prep gear, right, or be able to show up to an event that's going on. So
Rich Gannon and I used to work out on this field together when I was playing for the Chiefs, and he was with the Raiders. My best friend was playing for the Raiders too, and we practiced right on this field. He's another St. Joe's.
Yeah, he lives
grad.
in Ocean City.
He lives up 34th Street.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're talking with the head coach of the St. Joe's prep football team, Tim Roken. Tim, take us through. I know high school football doesn't get the notoriety like college and pros, obviously, but it's no joke. You guys are up at practicing at 6 a.m. Take us through what's an average day, or say like a Monday or Tuesday at St. Joe's prep.
Yeah, during the season, obviously it's a rigorous academic schedule that they're going to face every single day. All right, and depending on where you're traveling from, right, and how that transportation happens, some guys are up at 5 a.m., 6 a.m., right, to get in there, for an 8:30 start. They go to school all day, and then they got to flip the switch, right, and turn the classroom off and turn the football on for about 2.5 hours every afternoon. And then it's going home and how much, homework do I got to get done for the next day. And it's definitely a rigorous schedule throughout the school year. During our off season, we shut down. We fortunately obviously finished on a high note this year and win the state championship in the middle of December. We take about 8 weeks off to give the guys kind of a break. We start right after the Super Bowl ends, and then we go from in the weight room and one day a week in February to 2 days a week in March for workouts, and then we build that up throughout the spring, and then once we get to June, it's kind of full go for us. So 4 nights a week, lifting during the day, meetings during the day. We flip over to July and August. We're a 6 a.m. practice, and then we're going back. We're having meetings. We're feeding the guys, right? We're just trying to, keep them around us and give them as much opportunity to put themselves in the best position possible as we move forward here from a weight room standpoint, physically, and then mentally, with watching film as well.
Hey, Coach. I'm sorry, Dave. You just spoke.
All right, so I'll do
ahead.
my. So David Washington, I mentioned last week, he's a special player. I watched a lot of film on him. I helped him in the offseason. I think it helped him a lot to his 40-yard dash. But I was just saying, this one particular player, he's so special in a lot of ways. Maybe you could talk a little about David Washington and what you think of him.
Such a humble young man. He's battled some injuries earlier in his time here with us. So, he's a guy that we expected to help us at some point right when he first came in. And didn't get to do that, unfortunately, right? But has since then, right, just exploded, has just become such a leader within the wide receiver core, how he goes about his business every single day in terms of preparation and practice. And he's got a great smile, great personality about him. He wants to be great, and we try, and thankfully, right, and gratefully, we've coached some phenomenal young men that are obviously in the NFL and some guys that are doing some big things in college. And for these guys to see those guys at that level, and for us to be able to deliver the message and let them understand the things that they did differently, right, to separate themselves, right? Like, you know, to get to that level, and a guy like Marvin Harrison, and who's obviously got some great genes and talent in that sense, right? But the work that he does behind the scenes, I've never seen somebody be so talented and still work so hard, right? So, and these guys were to be able to go and meet DeAndre and meet Olamide down at the Eagles training camp and get to meet the generation that came before them, right, that wore the same jerseys and worked out in the same weight room and went about the same academic schedule. So they have great relationships with those guys, and Dave's going to be a special one as he moves forward. I mean, he is you know, I'm looking forward to some big things here tonight. You know, a lot of people are talking about the corner, right, as the number one corner in the country, right, that's committed to Georgia for IMG. And listen, Dave's talented, as well as our other two receivers and our guys out here, and we're going to test them, man. We're going to test them. There's no doubt about it.
Coach, at your level, top 10 team in the country, it's different than I'm watching these two teams play right here. Nothing against them. But as a coach, are you do you get players that are year-round just thinking football, or are you one of those coaches that likes hearing that when the football season's over, they may be playing basketball, they may be playing baseball, something like that?
2 or 3 sport athletes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Do you
it's
encourage that?
Oh, absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. We have a couple guys that play baseball. We have a couple guys that do track and field. We have a couple wrestlers. I think basketball is the hardest, just because with our success over the years, there's carryover into the. Now, Coach has been great with me and our guys and saying, hey, listen, I will run a separate workout if there's any guys that want to come out for the basketball team as well. So I encourage it because it keeps them busy, you know, and engaged, and having to manage athletics and academics at the same time is challenging. And one of the biggest things that you got to learn at St. Joe's Prep, or you will learn, is time management, right, and balancing those things. So I think we encourage guys to do it. And now I think what happens at some point, right, is everything is so individualized now, right, than when it used to be, right? Whereas football is all year round, basketball is all year round, baseball is all year round, lacrosse is all year round, right? So it's harder, and I think at some point you got to make a decision on if you're going to put your apples in one basket, right, for you to be able to go and to play at the higher level, right, then that's something you got to have a conversation about. But we want to encourage your guys to do it and figure out what's the best for them, because some of them come in as ninth graders and they think they might play they think they might be better at one sport. I love basketball, and I wound up playing football, right? Like, so it's fun for me, and it'll spin for others.
All right, Coach, let's talk about tonight's game.
Yeah.
Because you played them last year and lost, right?
2019.
2019.
Yes.
You guys obviously watched a lot of film on them. What do you have in store for it? What do you think about the IMG team this year?
Hey, listen, they're extremely talented. They got dudes running all over the place that are going to test us physically for sure. But I think, you know, with our preparation, our coaches have been preparing for this game for months, right? Our players have been preparing this game for a couple weeks now, and trying to work to tighten the screws each and every single day, that we're putting our guys in the best position to be possible to be successful, right? But these guys, as I told them, like, listen, it is going to be loud out there tonight. Yeah. You are not going to be able to hear us on the sideline, right? This has got to be your show, right? You got to want it and you got to earn it. So it's for those guys to be able to, it's teaching them to be able to fix things when they're out in the field, because they're not going to have us, right? So the problems may give us something that, you know, we haven't prepared for, right? But we have the tools in our box, right, to fix it, right? So it's on them to try and fix those things.
And it's a game of adjustments.
No doubt.
Coach, we want to thank you so much for taking time to speak with us. Good luck tonight, and the whole country is going to be watching. It's going to be on ESPN2, so we're really excited about that.
Absolutely. Hey, we got a great opportunity ahead of us, and we're going to make the most out of it, right? So thank you for having us, and go Prep.
True blessing having you, Coach.
All right, there he is, head coach Tim Roken from St. Joe's Prep.